Are you tired of the endless scroll and chasing algorithms? Are you frustrated by how your art keeps getting buried or suppressed by the algorithm? Do you crave a more relaxed, authentic experience online instead of the insta-perfect, curated version of life? If the answer to any of these questions was yes, then I think you should start a blog. If you're an artist on the internet, you need a blog. Hello everyone, I'm Nia Dragon, artist, animator, and general creative person on the internet. Today, I want to talk about blogs. With platform bans, shifting algorithms, and ever-changing policies, I think it's time to rethink how we share art and imagine a future where we're in control of our creative spaces online. Social media has become increasingly unreliable over the last couple of years. In an age where governments can ban apps, billionaires can buy and revamp said apps, and companies intentionally incentivize hate while ignoring the spread of disinformation, to me, it really feels like the perfect time to revive the artist's blog. I know this isn't a one-size-fits-all solution. Many people rely on social media for business. It's just a lot more convenient to draw customers in with these apps. Starting a blog and ditching social media entirely may not be the best and most practical solution, but for me as a small business owner and also just general artist working in the art industry, I have increasingly felt like my well-being matters more than my online presence, and I really believe major social media platforms are doing more to divide us than unite us. These platforms are notoriously unstable. What can start as a thriving art community can quickly become a ghost town. For me, I used Twitter for years until a certain billionaire acquired it, and since then I've really struggled to find meaningful community in the same way. And it's not just ownership changes, the algorithm is constantly shifting, which is really frustrating because it feels like you have to keep up with it. In addition to a lot of artists shifting into making short form content like Reels and TikToks, you have to constantly think about how that content will be picked up by the algorithm, and it takes you away from your creative practice. Also, in addition to the hamster wheel of keeping up with algorithms, following your friends or artists that you admire online doesn't always guarantee that you'll see their posts in your For You page. Social media has increasingly become more of a commercial space, dominated by ads and also plenty of rage bait, so staying genuinely connected with your friends and mutuals feels increasingly more impossible. As things are, we're all interconnected through platforms like Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and these spaces at present feel comfortable. But I might challenge you to think if that comfort comes from a satisfactory experience or just out of habit. Are you genuinely getting everything that you need out of your social media experience? Gone are the days where you could just take a picture of your aesthetic looking matcha, or on the art side, a quick sketch, without it getting buried under ads and algorithms driven content. Now we're just constantly trying to game the system, but I think there's a better way. Right now, I follow a few artists on Patreon who use their platforms more like personal hubs, which I think is fantastic. And I know everyone's first thought about Patreon is that it is a paid platform. And of course, if you can support them and have the capacity to do so, that's awesome. But a lot of artists also offer free tiers where you can keep up with their updates and get occasional freebies like myself. If you haven't already, I would encourage you to check out if your favorite artists are on subscription-based platforms like Patreon or Substack or Ko-fi. I think Substack is a standout for its discovery feature. It helps you find other creators and different communities. Also, honorable mention for those who prefer a more visual experience. I've seen some artists use Pencil Booth. It's more of a visual email newsletter with a really beautiful and simple format. Go straight to your email. There is a part of the site where you can have your own profile and a feed of all of what they call takes. One of the great things about all of these platforms is that they're super focused. No distractions, no clutter, just the creators you've chosen to support. But I also want to point out that these are platforms still in the end. They're a great starting point to keeping up with your favorite creators, but I also think they serve as a gateway to something with a little bit more longevity, following your favorite artist's newsletter or blog. There's something incredibly valuable about owning your own space, like a blog with a domain that you can control. And I know what you're thinking, that is kind of old-fashioned, but I think blogs offer something that social media can't, which is a digital archive of everything you've shared, untouched by the shifting algorithms or platform policies. It provides a direct way of connecting with artists, free from the distractions and exploitations that other platforms designed to monopolize our attention. Another perk, you won't have to scramble to download your data before a platform ban or a shutdown. I know I saw plenty of videos of people trying to last minute download their videos to avoid losing it forever. I know they say the internet is forever, but how permanent is it when bans or policy changes can wipe out entire communities? Every year, it feels like there's always something. And yes, I know blogs do require a more intentional approach. You do have to actively seek out the artists that you admire, rather than waiting for a social media algorithm to present their work to you, or even suggest similar accounts based on who you're following. Well, I kind of don't think that's a bad thing either. This video won't make big social media platforms disappear overnight, and artists will still use them, whether it's to keep in touch or share their products. As social media exists right now, it is interwoven into the way that we connect with each other. But instead, I want to encourage you to take a little extra step. When you discover an artist that you like on social media, just dig a little bit deeper. See if they have a blog or a newsletter or another platform where they just share their work more directly. I understand blogging isn't as seamless as social media, and third-party platforms do offer convenience. And again, I know it's a time commitment to maintain a blog, but with the convenience of social media comes compromise. These platforms control how your content is displayed, who sees it, and even whether it stays accessible in the future. Algorithms can hide your posts, policy changes can upend your strategy, and the platform itself could vanish overnight and leave you disconnected from your audience. Blogs would allow us to share our work on our own terms without relying on platforms that could disappear tomorrow, or thrive on stoking outrage and division. By building an interconnected network of personal blogs, we can create a sustainable, artist-driven ecosystem, one that prioritizes authenticity, creativity, and community over corporate agendas. And ultimately, I think this shift from passive consumption to active participation can create stronger online communities. All right, I think that's it. Thanks for bearing with me as I unpack this with you all. It's something I've began to feel very strongly about, having gone from platform to platform to platform for over a decade now. Even though these communities mean a lot to me, and I'm sure many of you, I think imagining a different future and opening up a dialogue about that is worth discussing. As things are for me right now, Patreon is my blog, but I ultimately hope to redesign my personal website this year and add a blog element. I think it would just be very cool, and also my site is from when I graduated college and I'm a very different artist these days, so it's about time for me to do some spring cleaning anyways. But I would love to make my site more personal and a snapshot into what I'm doing day to day, of course, as well as my professional and personal work. But in the meantime, if you would like to keep up with me on more than just YouTube, consider following me on Patreon. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye guys!